In today's video, I'm gonna break down some of the big reasons that he may have disappeared after you had sex. I know this is such a painful and fraught topic, and so we're really gonna break it down. The first reason that I wanna cover is that before you had sex, he may not have felt strongly enough about you. And this is a really hard one to come to grips with because obviously if you've just spent the night with someone, and especially if you really enjoyed it and you really like him, that feels terrible to think about. Here's the thing about having sex. There is no set rule about it, right? Like there's no guideline where it's like, if you wait until this particular point, then it's guaranteed that he'll fall in love with you and be with you forever, right? Like we all know those people who ended up having a one-night stand and 10 years later, they're still happily married. And we know people who have been together for a very long time before they finally had sex and the relationship still fell apart. So it's not just about the amount of time. There's no arbitrary deadline that means it'll work out or it won't. What it's really about is how invested was he in moving the relationship forward before he decided to have sex. Or before you decided to have sex, really. How invested was he in moving the relationship forward before you decided to have sex? If before you decided to have sex with him, he was already really interested and invested in the relationship going forward, then it doesn't matter if it was your first date or your second date or your third date. If he was already feeling that way, none of that's going to make a difference and it can continue. If at the point that you've decided to have sex, he wasn't invested in a relationship and now you've had sex, it may be that he has lost some of the motivation to move the relationship forward further. So here's what you have to make sure of. Make sure that when you are having sex, it's because you really want to, not because you're hoping it changes the relationship or he makes you feel some particular way, right? Like you want to make sure that you're not doing it because you're pressured or you're like, oh, I want him to know that the chemistry is real and that, I'm really as sexy as he thinks I am. No, like you have to do it because the timing seems right to you and you really want to. The second reason that he could have disappeared after having sex, and this is the one we really don't want to think about, right? Because this is the worst, is that all he wanted from you in the first place was sex. Now, of course this happens. And here's the thing. A man is allowed just to want sex. That doesn't make him bad, doesn't make him wrong, it doesn't make him a jerk. It just means that's what he wants. So what does this mean? It means that you need to know what he really wants before you have sex with him. The easiest way to do this is to have a conversation. Now, it's entirely possible that he will lie. And if he's really a jerk, if he's really a bad guy, he would lie. But most guys, and definitely any decent guy, isn't gonna lie. And if he just wants sex, he's not gonna have a problem telling you that. He'll say straight up, I just wanna have fun, or I just wanna keep things casual. I'm really just looking for a fling, right? Like guys say that. A lot of women have heard that, and it's not that they won't tell you the truth. It's just that it's not really what you want to hear, and so you try to disregard it. Don't do that. Take whatever information he's actually giving you and sort of store that, use it appropriately. So if you think that he just wants sex, or if he's telling you he just wants sex, then you won't be surprised if he disappears after having sex. That was the only thing that he wanted. The third reason that he may have disappeared after having sex is that he didn't feel enough chemistry, right? The only reason that any man chooses any particular woman is because of the way that he feels about her, the way that her energy makes him feel, right? And so if he wasn't getting the exact energy that he's hoping to get from a person he's going to be in a relationship with, then that would be a reason for him to disappear after sex, right? Like he's hooked up with you, he sees that it's not quite at the level it needs to be, and he doesn't feel a strong pull to continue the relationship. Of course, it's really painful to think about, especially if you feel like you felt a lot of chemistry. But it's the same way you've probably been with someone who really thought you were amazing, who maybe felt amazing chemistry with you, and you didn't feel it in return. So those are 3 of the big reasons that a man may have disappeared after sex. I hope that you absolutely love this video, and I am so excited to see you for part 2.